Well, I'm delighted to be talking to John Paine, who's my neighbor and my friend, and for so many years, my singing partner in the Brothers Four. And when I joined the group in 1969, I had been a founding member for 10 years, and just delighted to be talking to you.
Well, thank you.
Way,
thank you, Mark. So, I'm very happy to be here and share this experience with you.
Thank you. And I had, and as we were talking the other night, in the fall of '59, so you guys had recorded the Columbia record, and you had done a little bit of touring, and you'd gone to Las Vegas to kind of...
In the fall of '59, right, we had gone back to New York in July and spent July, August, and September recording the first album. We had a release in the fall, a single release by Columbia, and then after we had completed a job in Ohio, in Dayton, Ohio, my new bride discovered that she was pregnant, and she was not feeling well, to say the very least. And we were doing 5 shows a night behind the bar in a nightclub in downtown Dayton.
Big time, and quit show business?
And show business was just not all it seemed cracked up to be. So I let that be known to the other 3 guys that this was not the fun experience that we had on the campus at the University of Washington, and that I really felt that I had to return to Seattle and get Libby back in her home surroundings. And the other 3 guys, it was either return to Seattle or drive from Dayton, Ohio to Springfield, Mass in a rental car and do 5 shows a night again. And they said, you know, why don't we all go back to Seattle? Wow. So we did. We returned to Seattle, and we were able to find enough work, one-nighters, singing jobs. And during the day, I went back to selling clothes at Martin and Ekman in the University District. And we got along just fine until March of 1960, when our manager, Mort Lewis, came up to Seattle, and he said, you know, Columbia has released Greenfields, and it's starting to sell. Would you consider coming back to New York to do a television show?
You know, and I think the thing that's amazing is that so many careers, so many dreams, so many sort of hopes in those ways back before they can sort of be launched.
That's
I think
right.
And the Brothers Four's career, and I'm thinking now from the spring of 1959 when you guys headed down to San Francisco to audition at the Hungry Eye, to about 20 months later when you were singing in early 1961 for the 1960 Oscars. It might have been as great a Stars Are Born or a Star Is Born story as I've ever heard.
Well, it truly turned our lives around. I mean, we went from college kids, you know, who were singing on campus for the fun of singing, to being professional musicians and entertainers.
And it started with a call that from the Colony Club?
Well, it was a practical joke. It was a fraternity party, and a guy put his date up to calling us and saying, please come down to the Colony Club for an audition.
And this was a nightclub in Seattle.
This is a nightclub in Seattle, and the day following the phone call, we called the Colony Club to confirm the appointment, and the manager said, you gotta be kidding. Number one, he said, we're not doing well enough for me to have a secretary, so she couldn't have called you and invited you down. But then he said, what kind of music do you sing? And we said, folk music. And he said, are you any good? And we said, hey, we're great. And he said, well, come on down on Thursday and I'll listen to you. So after the audition, he hired us for weekends. And that was very significant for us because we needed exposure to an audience. And we needed to build our repertoire, and working at the Colony Club gave us that opportunity.